Happy Monday. Holy happy Monday, first of all. I've had a kind of a rough weekend, and I am thankful to be on a Monday. I'm thankful to be over the hump of the moon, like coming into the fullness, which means everything is out in the open, you know? Like the light of the moon, everything on the table kind of feeling, right? And then the feeling of, oh God, brand new territory, brand new um, goals, roles, and specifically more discernment about, am I creating from alignment or ego? And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about this morning. Um, just to change gears a little bit. Or maybe not. Maybe it's the same. It's probably the same. So, I was thinking yesterday about my ego creating, and what that means to me is, so our ego is basically our in our mind when we're born. Before we know about anything, we just wake up a blob of life that can squeak and poop and eat. Our ego is born with us, and what that is I kind of feel like it's a lot of things. It's kind of like our big me, but it, depending on where the mood is of the big me, is what you are in it of. So when you are not being conscious, or when you're, no, that's not true. When you're not vibrating from a frequency of love, that creature is usually ego. When you're vibrating at hope frequency or higher, usually closer to love appreciation, you're in your alignment. But it's kind of the same thing, because once you're in your alignment, the ego chills. Like, even for me, like when I'm doing my shifting and I'm like, this is fucked, and alignment is like, nope, this is what you need. You need to see that this ain't it. And ego's like, but this is fucked. So like, ego wants me to say, this is a bad person hurting me. And alignment says, this is something shaking free because you've asked for it, and you have to let it be. You can kind of guide and direct what you want, but you can't pick how you get it. Which I think is a whole other, maybe, story conversation. I read this yesterday about ego, and I want to read it. It says, the people that are judging you have to. It is the self's priority / ego to do, think, believe, or justify whatever it takes to make peace with your choices and how you feel, or how you choose to treat another because of them. The bottom line is, it is literally between you and them. It is an energetic life standoff, that's in quotes. Who do you think you would let win when the flip side is you're losing, or your ego death, which can and often does manifest with feelings, situations, and circumstances to even offer death as a solution. But have no fear, literally, our ego was installed to see to it that we mostly choose things that continue our life source. And while that was helpful, it was coming from a place where I was still in ego. But no, it did help. It did help, because like, it made me kind of hear things a little differently. Like, so when you're a baby, our ego is installed. It's a weird word, but whatever. Our organs are installed. Let's install the ego as well, okay? So all the things in our brains are installed, including that. I kind of feel like it's like our ego is created as our easiest manifesting. You know what I mean? Because it's the one. So from a little kid, when you think things, your ego or your consciousness that is available to you is kind of like teaching you and showing you, you think this, it's true. You think this is true. You think this is true. When you get to be older, when you decide that something isn't good for you or something is good for you, whether it is or not, it is still your ego's job to say, you're right. You're right. Well, your ego will literally dive and dig and go through all the nooks and crannies to find the words, to find the feelings, to have you see the things that you want to see, to make whatever you decided right. It doesn't matter if it's right to anything else, because if it's right to you, your ego's on board. This is getting to a really good point. This also means if it's right to you, your ego's on board. If you're choosing it from an alignment source, your ego's on board. Your ego is still here to bring you the thoughts, to show you, okay, let's play a game. I'm waking up rich on Friday. Ego, do it. Okay, this is a dramatization. So now I've decided I'm rich on Friday, right? I told ego. And I need to believe this, because let's pretend my life depends on it. I don't know. Like, usually I feel like when you're functioning from ego, it feels like life or death. Like, a lot of times it feels that way because you've been hurt or offended or triggered. Because usually we're not bringing in that sense of, whoa, I'm right and they're wrong, right? Like, if we're just blipping around, the day is the day. And even our ego is there in the day. Like, when you see so-and-so in the corner, you already know they're a mess, and your ego reminds you, you know? It's kind of like your ego, your intuition, and your sense of alignment are all the same thing. It's just where you are as far as how you're tuning in and playing with that power. Sure, you can use your abilities in your mind to worry and create more havoc and turmoil, which is what I've been doing for the past 20 years. But you could also, and that's not true, it's another dramatization. You could also say, okay, universe, I'm going to be rich on Friday. Now it's your job to prove it to me. And again, you can't really, like, say the rules, you know? You can just say, this is true now. And then just kind of like, if you were to meditate around that situation and believe it and write it and just know, I'm rich on Friday. Start making plans, feel it. What are you going to wear? Who you calling? What's for breakfast? You know? Your ego will begin. First, it's going to be like, are you sure? Because we just called somebody that said that not to. But you know what I mean? Your ego will try to do all these things to keep you in your safe, easy creating bubble. It'll be like, you don't need to be rich. Just pay the BG&E. And then maybe you're like, yeah, that's just that. Just do that. Well, now your ego has come swooped in and satisfied that whole thing. Because we know we won't be rich by Friday. But we just need that BG&E paid so that we can stop fucking flipping out, right? So an ego would say, fuck this. You know? Whereas alignment says, we got this. It's all about the sense of self. When you're from an aligned place, it's easier to look at things as everybody is having their own experiences. Everybody is perceiving how things feel and look in their body to their self because of their experiences. So even when shit feels fucked, they're ultimately, yes, okay, sometimes people are trying to hurt you, but not all the time. Sometimes they're just trying to, like, live. And a lot of times our ego will manifest that as, like, a person that's not nice to us. Because that person is doing their best in the moment to try to live, and their ego is guiding them. When you're being guided from alignment, it doesn't feel the same. You don't feel like you have to like hurt other people to get ahead. You don't feel like you have to fight other people. You don't feel like you have to blame other people. You just kind of let it be what it bees and reach for the new path that is not ego aligned, that is not already knowing. Like, you have to let it go. You have to let your ego part chill. And it's really hard when it's like, but okay, so let's do a little thing. Hi. What is that? It looks like a stove. He's probably sleeping. Can we call him in a little minute? We'll call him in a minute. So, okay, let me see if I can wrap this up really quickly. So if you, human you, are somewhere and someone comes to you and you have a talk. You decide, okay, let's talk about Thanksgiving. You decide you want to do traditional Thanksgiving. All the McDonald's, yes, baby. All the delicious. Your friend wants to do McDonald's for Thanksgiving. They want to do something different. They want to travel. Yeah. Maybe later, okay? Maybe later. Either way, neither is wrong, you know? Like, really, who cares what you eat any day? And who cares if it's Thanksgiving or yesterday? What? Your ego's job is to tell you and to make you believe that you, being either the McDonald's or the traditional, are the right one. Your meal would be the best meal. Your idea is the best idea. And a lot of times when you're not knowing that and your brain is processing those things, we just get swept up. And next thing you know, you and so-and-so don't even have dinner, and you don't even talk till next Thanksgiving. All because you just had different feelings and perceptions and didn't understand how to like communicate them to each other without seeming like you were bashing each other. And really there's so much space for everybody to kind of have it the way that they want it, but we just haven't been functioning that way. It's been more like, well, you took it from me, I'm taking it back from you. You know what I mean? Like, our ego is like our child inside that's wanting to get its way. And in your mind, it will get its way. Like, ego says, everybody's bad. Everybody's bad. Ding! Fries are done. Everybody's bad. And then, once you believe it, the universe, law of attraction will start showing you everybody's bad. All the bad people will come. Let's change the sniper. But you'll feel justified because your ego told you that. So it's like, I knew it. I knew these were bad people. You know what I mean? It's a loop. It's a fuckery loop. But, it's like, hey, Bubbles, could you come up here? But, once you can get on the other side of the loop, or at least in the loop, once you are in the loop and deciding, do I want to do this for my ego? Did my ego serve me best? And sometimes our ego does serve us, like when we don't want to die. Or when someone says, you should give me all your money because I'm a nice person. Your ego's like, but I kind of would like some money too. No thanks. Sometimes those thoughts are good for us. And usually before we're purposely creating, it's exactly what it's for. It's to save you. It's to show you like things. Stay in your bubble. It's your like your intuition from like, okay, so I was looking at the definition. It says a conscious thinking subject. Is that what I wrote down? Hold on. A conscious thinking subject. That does not mean the subject is thinking consciously. I want to say that first and foremost. Just because conscious beings have an ego does not mean ego beings have conscious thought, okay? I know plenty of time. You needed a whole pair of pants, bud. I know plenty of times I've had ego thoughts and I was not consciously guiding or directing or even like in it. I was just like in the soup, you know, like, and ego goes, and it pulled me right out of the soup, plopped me on the shore. I said, Thank you, God, ego. Thank you, ego, God, for showing me that I was right, they're wrong. This is not good for me. This hurt. This made me feel uncomfortable. And thank you for bringing me back to my comfort bubble, and I am going to stay right there. Nice and small and easily created in this loop. And you're going to keep showing me that I'm right, and it's right, and it's right, and it's right. Or alignment is, so what did I write down? I wrote down ego is like sense of self, like highest sense of self. It's like the thinker thinking all about you versus your alignment is like all of what you are, which kind of happens to be all of the whole grand scheme of things. Alignment. So when we're in alignment, usually we are doing something that we love. And in alignment, it feels easy to be loving to others. You know that's your best times. You're the most generous, you're the most loving, you're the most appreciative, you're the most giving, you're the most connected to another. You're the most happily connected to yourself. Like everything that you're doing is from a full, careful, when in alignment, like all of your being is there. So you're doing like all of the things, you know? Like whether it's yoga or playing the drums or running, playing a sport, singing, bumping uglies consensually. You know, those things are easy alignment spaces, because usually you're paying attention and you want to do it right. You know, you want to do it well, and it feels good. So it feels good to keep doing it. And our ego's even good for that. Like the ego is not bad. It just needs to know when it's time to sit down and chill. When it's like, oh, I think my ego's been keeping me a little smaller than I am comfortable now, and while I needed that protection from before, now that protection is suffocating me. And my ego is offering me endless ways. I mean, is there a different word for endless that means endless? Is it called black hole-ness ways? To stay small. And Nancy has let herself consider all of them. And didn't like any of them. And I heard last week, it will be different. Don't do anything until it's a hell yes. And that's still, you know, the ego was like, and I was like, maybe, meh. So, but the good thing is, I was conscious through that, and I know that the uncomfort served me. I know that not doing any of the things really served me. Yeah, now I'm gonna go serve my little sunfish because he's awake with no diaper and he needs things. And we'll be back to talk more about ego versus alignment later. Yeah. And again, neither is wrong. Like, it's all there for you. Alignment is more like you being able to share your fullness with everyone and the world, and therefore benefiting everything. Everything you do from alignment is better for everybody. Everything you do from ego is often mostly considering what's better for you, which isn't wrong either. Sometimes you have to consider what is better for just you. Sometimes it's time to just start thinking outside of the box. You have to decide where you are. If it's a mental health issue and you've been struggling, you don't need to think about anybody but you. That's your space. If this is a family thing and you're kind of the person driving the ship, maybe get your head out of your ass. So, you know, like, and again, if you need your head in your ass for a month, you can do that. The ego will support that. And then when you're through and you want to try another way, the ego will try to keep you there. And then And then if you just keep giving up and keep giving up, alignment will come, finally swooping in like the knight in shining armor. And the light will be there, and new ideas, and new things to create ego thought around even. Well, I knew that, another story. I'm going to go. Because then we're getting back and forth between being on purpose and not on purpose, and I don't want to get too lost. It's 20 minutes. Naked baby. All those things.